If I was scrawny and weak again, I would avoid this mistake because it made it so much harder to put on mass and become aesthetic. And that mistake is eating chicken and rice religiously. Now, before you freak out and tell me that all the other professional bodybuilders in the scene and all the professional athletes eat lots of chicken and rice, I want you to think about your own individual condition and the fact that you're scrawny and you have zero appetite. I remember having terrible appetite as well when I first started my fitness journey. I had to use the available stomach space I had efficiently so that I didn't get too full, which would mean I wouldn't meet my calories for the day. And the first problem with chicken and rice is it is so low calorie for the amount of volume that it is. Even if you have a bigger appetite as a scrawny guy, when you realize you have to eat like 5 plates of that shit a day, it gets quite challenging. It's bland and most of the time it's super dry, and you've probably been in the same position as me where you're battling to try and finish the plate after you get about 70% of the way through because it's just foul. Memory back when I was in uni and I used to cook in a rice cooker. I used to cook like 4 cups of rice per day, and I used to just cram chicken and rice all throughout the day, and every single time I'll do it, I'd have a massive plate, take like 3 scoops of rice out, the whole plate would be full. I'd literally feel sick before most of my gym sessions because of how much I had to consume beforehand. And then what do you know? I come home and I have to consume more chicken and rice. And I realized that this was not really practical for me because I just couldn't force the food down anymore. It was just a pain in the ass, and you're probably exactly the same. So that's the first reason of why it is definitely not optimal. The problem becomes when you can't cram your calories in from this chicken and rice, this ultra clean way of eating. Well, my resort was to start eating junk food and a bunch of crap to try and get the extra calories in, which was obviously detrimental to my physique. And the second reason that why you shouldn't keep pumping down chicken and rice every single day is something that people don't really talk about, and that's the fact that it actually has quite a low micronutrient profile. And when analyzing chicken and rice as a meal, what I'm talking about specifically is the cholesterol. If you're just eating chicken and rice, you're not consuming enough cholesterol. Pretty much, to put it simply, cholesterol is what we need as guys to build muscle because cholesterol helps to produce testosterone. Without cholesterol, you literally cannot produce testosterone. So we need cholesterol to make testosterone. When you're eating chicken and rice every single day, multiple times a day, you're not getting enough cholesterol in your diet. So not only are you struggling to consume the whole meal multiple times per day, but every time you consume it, you're not actually getting the needed cholesterol, the needed daily cholesterol to optimize your testosterone and therefore optimize your muscle mass. Additionally, unless you're buying the highest grade of chicken, most of it is pumped with water to make it appear fuller. So that means it's going to be even more dense for less calories. Again, if you're not buying the organic, high quality stuff, then it's going to be pumped with corn and soy. So not only is it hard to eat, it doesn't have enough cholesterol, but it's also containing things that are going to kill your muscle gain, like corn and soy and pellet food and stuff that's making the chickens unhealthy, which then you're consuming their meat, which is inherently going to make you less healthy as well. So okay, you're a scrawny guy, you heard me tell you that chicken and rice is not optimal. Well, what is optimal? We now know that the criteria is something that has good levels of cholesterol, good levels of micronutrients, and something that is likely not filled with corn and soy and pesticides and a bunch of random rubbish. And it has to be easy to eat. My solution, which I am absolutely certain will work for you because it worked for me, is specifically eating mince and potatoes instead of chicken and rice. And there's a few reasons why mince potatoes is far superior to chicken and rice. And I'm going to pull up a few diagrams. Pretty much, if we're comparing the protein sources, we have chicken versus beef, and you can see beef has got far more nutrients and stuff like iron and zinc, which is super essential for optimizing your health as a guy. Because it has so much saturated fat, you're going to be getting the optimal levels of cholesterol when you eat this, which means you're going to get more testosterone, feel more like a man, feel less scrawny, and actually put on muscle. And if we look at the carb source, we've got potatoes and rice. Rice is kind of just a refined grain. It's not that special. It doesn't really have that much stuff, right? Potatoes, on the other hand, are filled with far more electrolytes. You're going to get way more potassium, which, especially if you're in the gym doing sports and trying to be athletic and perform well, this is going to help you sustain your energy, train harder. And it has more micronutrients, which is going to, again, support your male health and make you even more prone to building muscle and getting fit and optimizing your hormones. And the second reason why mince potatoes absolutely smokes chicken and rice every single day of the week is because the main focus we're trying to get at here, it's easier to eat. It's easier to get more calories in with smaller volume and with less trouble, less disgust. Because let's face it, I don't know about you, but unless you're putting so much seasoning and making a fine chefed up dish, if you just want to be quick and easy and get calories in because you're trying to optimize your physique and stop being scrawny, you don't have time for all that shit, right? You want to get something that tastes good and gets a lot of calories in and is simple and quick. So unless you're eating KFC chicken, I don't think people have really wanted to include chicken that much. It's just been adopted because it's the trend or the standard. But if we're moving to the calorie breakdown of mince potatoes versus chicken and rice, if we put these two meals side by side with the same portion sizes, if we start with 250 grams of chicken breast and 250 grams of white rice, sitting at about 700 calories with about 80 grams of protein. Whereas we put it next to mince and potatoes, we put it next to 250 grams of regular mince and 3 medium potatoes, we're sitting at over 1000 calories for that same meal. About the same protein, 70 grams of protein. But this time we're sitting with way more fat, which is going to be super optimal for our cholesterol. And if you're sick of boring, bland, dry chicken, then the fat in the beef is actually going to give it flavor and make it easier to get down. So again, we're getting multiple benefits from this meal. We're getting the higher calorie count, the high cholesterol, the more micronutrients from the potatoes, as well as the beef. So we're getting our calories in easily. We're getting our cholesterol in to optimize our hormones, which not many people talk about. We're getting micronutrients for sports performance and performance in the gym. And it doesn't taste like shit. So I guarantee that if you just eat 2 of 3 meals of this daily, you will be sitting at like 3000 calories. And honestly, the serving size that I discussed is actually pretty small. You can eat way more than that. So you'll be sitting at like 3000 calories. Whereas to get the same in chicken breast and rice, you're gonna have to eat like 4 or 5 of these meals, right? And obviously we know, as I discussed, it is far harder. Everyone can agree it is far harder to eat chicken and rice than it is to eat meat and potatoes. Guarantee you it'll help you, because I was scrawny and it helped me put on about 10 kilos in a quick as hell time span. And if you're looking for the exact blueprint on how to go from a scrawny loser who's got no confidence to a young man filled with confidence who wields a physique he's proud of, then check out the community below, because it contains every single thing you need to know to optimize your hormones, which nobody talks about, and to become confident and athletic in the process.